Welcome back, students. We continue with our lesson Earth as a Planet. In our previous class, we discussed the various theories that prove that the Earth is spherical in shape. Now we will discuss the actual shape of the Earth, and we will also discuss why Earth is considered a unique planet. Earth an oblate spheroid. If you look at this diagram, you will see that the Earth is not a perfect sphere. Its equatorial diameter is about 12,756 kilometers, that is slightly longer than the polar diameter, which is 12,714 kilometers. This difference in diameter is because of the centrifugal force created as a result of Earth's rotation at a tremendous speed, which helps to form a bulge at the equator and compression at the poles. So, the shape of the Earth is often described as oblate spheroid or geoid, which means Earth-shaped. Earth is the only planet in our solar system that supports life. Let us understand the favorable factors that make life possible on Earth. Optimum distance from the Sun. Earth is neither too close to the Sun nor too far from the Sun. This optimum distance from the Sun makes life possible on Earth. If it was closer to the Sun, any life present would get burnt from too much heat. If it was farther from the Sun, life would freeze. Suitable temperature. Earth has an average temperature of 17 degrees Celsius, which is suitable for life to exist. Earth is the third planet from the Sun. The first two planets, Mercury and Venus, are very hot with maximum temperature of more than 400 degrees Celsius. The remaining planets have temperature below 0 degree. Venus is the hottest planet because its atmosphere is mainly composed of carbon dioxide, which produces a greenhouse effect on the surface of Venus. Presence of favorable atmosphere. Atmosphere is the blanket of air around the Earth, and it is one of the most suitable factors making life possible on Earth. It has oxygen, which is needed by organisms for respiration. Nitrogen provides nutrients needed by plants. Carbon dioxide is essential for plant life on Earth. The ozone layer in the atmosphere absorbs the harmful ultraviolet rays of the sun. The atmosphere also prevents loss of heat from the Earth's surface and helps to keep the Earth warm. Presence of water. Water covers about 71% of the surface of the Earth. Earth's hydrological cycle is its most unique feature. Water from seas, rivers, and lakes evaporates into the atmosphere, where it condenses and falls back as precipitation. Most of the water on land flows back to the oceans. Thus, water moves in a continuous cycle known as the hydrological cycle. This balance between evaporation, condensation, and precipitation makes life possible on Earth. Water can absorb enormous amounts of heat without causing much change in its temperature. During the day, water bodies rapidly absorb vast amounts of heat. Thus, the Earth remains fairly cool. At night, the water bodies release vast amounts of heat that they absorbed during the day, which helps to keep most of the Earth's surface from freezing at night. Solid crust or lithosphere. Earth has a solid crust. Weathering of rocks makes a valuable layer of soil which supports all plant life. The soil provides essential nutrients to plants for their growth. Plants directly and indirectly support animal life. It is a storehouse of minerals which supports industrial development. Biosphere. Biosphere is the narrow zone of contact between atmosphere, hydrosphere, and lithosphere. It is the zone where exchange of matter takes place and which supports life. Biosphere is a thin layer of approximately 15 kilometers from the deepest ocean trench to the highest mountain peak. At ground level, it extends to a depth of just 3 meters and in ocean waters about 200 meters deep. Biosphere supplies the essential requisites of life for all living species on Earth, that is, light, heat, water, food, and living space or habitats. Life-giving cycles. Now we will discuss the various life-giving cycles that operate in nature and are absolutely necessary for life, starting with the nutrition cycle. The nutrition cycle shows the interdependence of all living things on Earth. The plants take energy of the sun to synthesize the food through photosynthesis. They are called primary producers or autotrophs. Some animals consume plant material to meet their energy requirements. These animals are called primary consumers or herbivores. The animals consuming herbivorous animals to obtain energy are called secondary consumers or carnivores. When animals and plants die, microorganisms in the soil or saprotrophs break this matter down and again make the nutrients available in their mineral form, making it possible for plants to take them up again, and so this cycle continues. The carbon cycle. Atmospheric carbon dioxide is taken by plants to make food in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. The carbon moves on to consumers, where plants are consumed by animals. After the death of plants and animals, the carbon present in them is decomposed by saprophytic bacteria and fungi, and they release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Plants, animals, and humans use atmospheric oxygen for respiration and release carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere. The burning of carbon-containing fuels also leads to the release of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. The nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen is the most abundant gas in the atmosphere, forming 78% of the volume of pure dry air. But atmospheric nitrogen cannot be used directly by plants and animals. Rhizobium bacteria live in the root nodules of leguminous plants like beans, peas, peanuts, etc. They convert nitrogen to ammonia using a process called nitrogen fixation. Nitrifying bacteria convert ammonia to nitrites and then nitrates. Plants take these nitrates from soil and use them to make proteins. Animals eat plants to get protein. Dead plants and animal excreta contain nitrogenous waste. Over time, this waste decays and ammonia is released. Nitrifying bacteria again convert ammonia into nitrates, which is again used by plants. Denitrifying bacteria convert nitrates back to atmospheric nitrogen. Nitrogen gas goes into the atmosphere and its percentage in air remains constant. Here, the nitrogen cycle has been explained again. You can read it at your leisure. The oxygen cycle. Oxygen is constantly being created and used by different processes on Earth. All these processes together make up the oxygen cycle. Plants are the main creators of oxygen in the atmosphere through the process of photosynthesis. The trees use sunlight and carbon dioxide to produce energy and release oxygen. The animals and human beings breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. The plants then use this carbon dioxide and the cycle is complete. This concludes our class on Earth as a planet. Thank you and have a nice day.